Hi guys, welcome to my channel Happy High Tarot. I'll get to today's reading in a while, but first, a big shout out to my sponsor Keen, the largest network of psychic advisors that's out there. Their advisors are available 24/7, so you'll always find someone to talk to. You can ask about love, relationships, career, personal growth, and anything else that you need help with. I had consulted a keen advisor some time back through a live chat, and a lot of what she told me made perfect sense. Their responses are so prompt, you guys. My reading lasted for a little over 10 minutes, and in that duration itself, she had already answered 7 to 8 questions of mine. It's very easy to get a reading on Keen, by the way. You just have to open an account, choose an advisor based on your concern, select whether you wish to connect via chat or call, and that's it. As a first time user, Keen is offering you the first 5 minutes of a reading for just $1. Use the link in my description box, trykeen.com/happyhightarot to connect with a Keen advisor today. In today's pick a card reading, we will find out how is your past life affecting your present life and what advice would spirit like to give to you for your present life. So this is actually part 2 of a reading. You will find part 1 in the timestamps. Please make sure to select the same group in part 1 that you are picking in part 2. And in part 1, we've covered who were you in your past life and what was your past life like. So you can see an image on your screen right now. Feel free to pause the video over here, meditate on all your options, pick whichever one calls out you the most. If you're coming from part 1, you already know which one to choose. So go to your timestamps and let's get started. Hi group 1, if you guys chose the first image, welcome to part 2 of your reading, in which we are going to find out how is your past life affecting your present life and what guidance does spirit have for you for your present life. And if this is the first video that you are chancing upon, there is another one, the first part of the reading, in which we found out who were you in your past life and what was your past life like. You will find the link to that in the description box, but make sure that in that reading also you pick pile 1 if in this reading you've picked pile 1. So let's find out. Let's begin. Let's start by taking a look at your oracle cards. So the cards that came out for you guys are Wishing Well. Then we have Magic Stream, Encouragement. From the tea leaves, we have Harp that says Happiness, Broken Wishbone that says Wish Will Not Be Granted. We have Kite that says Vacation. And from the tarot cards, we have the Blasted Oak, which is basically the Tower. Then we have the Moon. And finally, we have the Seven of Swords that says Insecurity. Alright, so how is your past life affecting your present life? I can actually see 3 distinct themes over here of how your past life affects your present life. The first theme over here with Kite's energy, and then we have the Blasted Oak over here and Magic Stream. And so this is something that you've always experienced in this life, but maybe up until now it wasn't really making sense to you. You start getting very restless if you stay in any place for much longer. All right. And I mean everything. I mean, whether it's your house in which you're living, whether it is the city or the state in which you're living, if it, let's say, crosses the 2-year or at most the 5-year mark, you start getting restless. You want to see what else is out there. You want to live in some other house. You want to travel. You want to go somewhere else. In fact, some of you want to relocate altogether to a totally different country. But it does not make sense to you. Why aren't you ever able to be happy, or why aren't you ever able to find peace with where you are? Why can't you grow your roots in just one place? So the reason behind it, as we've seen in part 1 of your reading, is that most of your past life you had that vagabond lifestyle. You were basically just traveling from one place to the next, meeting people, interacting with them. It seems as if your soul is very used to that movement. Your soul is very used to discovering new places and interacting with new people, which is why that restless energy of, oh, how much longer do I have to be here, it just starts collecting within you. Then also with the with the tower over here, I think, and okay, so this is very weird, but I think for some of you, you find comfort in chaos. All right. So when I say you find comfort in chaos, I mean if there is no stability around you. All right. If you have a profession wherein you're constantly required to move, or if something happens because of which, in just 2 days time your company says that okay, we're transferring you overnight, and from tomorrow you have to go and join there and this and that, you like that. It does not phase you. People would think that it will throw you off, but it doesn't. And because even in such sudden turn of events, you somehow manage to stay calm, it does not make sense to people. Well, little do they know that your soul is very used to it, so it doesn't really matter to you. Then, the second theme that I can see over here with great happiness and broken wishbone is that because you spent a great deal of your past life helping others, so similarly in this life also, it's almost as if you have carried that ability with you in your present life, wherein you can almost detect, you can almost spot who is hurting, who is going through something, who is suffering, who needs help, who looks sad. And then you always try to warm up to that person, you always try to ask that person what's up, and what can you do from your side. So it almost seems as if this need, I won't exactly say need, I would say it's kind of like a good habit that you've carried from your past life to this life, wherein helping people and knowing that you are the reason because of which someone could smile again, it really satisfies your soul. It really soothes your soul on such a deep level. In fact, with the presence of moon over here in great happiness, I think this might just be another thing that does not make sense to the people around you this time around. Like, oh, why are you going out of your way to do this? Or why did you spend all your pocket money on buying a new cycle for this kid on the block? But they wouldn't understand. They would understand that it's almost like therapy for your soul, knowing that you could help somebody else. And then the third theme that I can see over here with wishing well and Seven of Swords, and this is where it gets interesting. So, if you remember Group 1, in your past life, you were born in a family that was very privileged, like nobility or royalty, and something like that. And maybe in this life, I'm not saying that you are um, not doing well for yourself, but perhaps you want something more, especially in terms of abundance, especially in terms of money. You do feel like you could have done with a little bit more. And so the thing is that in the past life, you had a life of luxury, but you gave that up. And in this life, you are working very hard towards getting a life of luxury, right? It's almost as if, oh, I couldn't enjoy it back then. I want to enjoy it now. I want to enjoy it in this life. But maybe at this point, you're not quite there just yet. You haven't really achieved that level of money or financial freedom that you would want. And so that is sprouting some seeds of insecurity within you, because you're starting to worry whether or not you'll ever be able to achieve those monetary goals of yours or not, whether you'll ever be able to achieve those abundance goals of yours or not. And honestly, with the presence of the moon over here in insecurity, and especially because we also have this loving card of encouragement for you over here, I do feel like this is something that you need to work upon. Of course, it is some deeply embedded memory of your soul, having a life of luxury and all of that. But that does not mean that in this life, you'll never be able to get all of those things. You are wishing for luxury, but you are also working towards it, right? If you aren't, you most definitely should, because it isn't impossible for you. And somewhere with the presence of insecurity, I think one ripple effect, you can say, of the kind of life that you used to live in the past that has trickled down into your present is that you don't really give explanations to people for why you're doing what you're doing, but it does bother you a lot. in the past life it wasn't bothering you because who you were, your role was very clear to everyone, right? People knew you as the kind of person who goes around and helps people. Everyone was very used to it. In this life you still keep doing gestures like that, but it doesn't really make sense to anybody. Why would you do this? You're just, like, why would you do this? Why would you go out of your way to do this? So they raise questions, and it hurts you, it upsets you. And I think that that is something you need to work upon, because it's okay as long as you get why you're doing what you're doing. It does not really have to make sense to anybody else for that matter. Okay, now let's see what advice would spirit like to give to you for your present life. So the cards that came out for you guys are Parrot, that says listen intently to understand. And we have Elephant, that says open yourself to true abundance. Wow. I feel the first advice over here is that keep up the good work that you're doing when it comes to helping people, when it comes to solving their problems, when it comes to opening your heart to them, passing on that kindness. All of that is great. However, with the Parrot's energy, it seems like sometimes you don't even wait to properly understand what the other person wants or what they're going through, because you're so caught up in playing a particular role. I don't know if this is something that you do subconsciously, maybe, so perhaps you don't really realize it. But then this is something you need to work upon. The first, you have to let the other person talk. You have to first let the other person finish speaking, so that you can maybe better grasp what their problem areas are, and that in turn will give you a better idea with regards to how can you help them. And then of course, with the presence of the elephant's energy over here, and as it talks about abundance, and we've already seen that abundance or money might be something that troubles you right now, so spirit is asking you not to worry about it. In fact, with open yourself to true abundance, I feel like somewhere you are destined to get a lot of abundance and a lot of material wealth in this life, primarily because of the good karma that you have been collecting over these previous lifetimes by helping other people. So you are bound to get abundance sooner, later. That shouldn't worry you too much. Just know that it'll find its way to you. For now, all you have to do from your side is keep helping people, as you've been doing. And one more thing, when it says open yourself to true abundance, I think spirit is saying that some of that has to be redirected inwards. You take chunks from your abundance to help others, but then maybe you start feeling very hesitant when some new opportunity comes knocking at your door. You start feeling hesitant. You can't understand whether you should trust this person, whether you should trust this opportunity or not. You start doubting. Of course, somewhere the energy of insecurity and Seven of Swords can play into that as well. Of course, we have the moon too. So these are some things that you need to work upon. So these are all the messages that I have for you right now, group 1. If you like this reading, do give it a thumbs up. Let me know it on in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and hit the bell icon when you do so. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hi group 2, if you guys chose the second image, welcome to part 2 of your reading, in which we will find out how is your past life affecting your present life and what guidance does spirit have for you for your present life. If this is the first video that you are chancing upon, there is a part 1 of this reading that you will find linked in the timestamps. Please make sure that in part 1 also you select this group that you've chosen right now, which is group 2. And in the first part of that reading, we will be taking a look at who were you in your past life and what was your past life like. So let's start your reading. The cards that came out for you guys are Wide Open. Then we have Golden Palace, Stuck in the Mud. From your tea leaves, we have Pineapple, that says reconciliation. Fire, that says strong emotion, passionate love or hate. And we have Gong, that says an exciting event. And from the tarot cards, we have the Great Bear. We have Queen of Swords. And we have the King of Swords. Alright, so how is your past life affecting your present life, group 2? The first theme that I can pick for this group is that in this life, you guys try to live your life to the fullest. You guys are always, always open to experience everything that life has to offer, the ups and downs, the good, the bad. You guys are more than willing to explore, travel, find out about new customs, cultures, traditions, cuisine, music, movies, all of that. And the reason behind it is because if you remember from your from your part one reading, that there were a lot of things that you were deprived of growing up in your past life. So now this time around, it almost feels as if your soul has this hunger to not miss out on anything. I can also say that in this life as well, you are very, very fiercely protective of everyone in your family. Just like how in the past life you used to play the role of their caregiver, of the breadwinner of the family, of the protector of the family. So, similarly, in this life also, your soul, it's almost as if your soul is sort of used to playing that role now. So, in this life also, you always act like the first line of defense when it comes to all of your family members, your mother, father, your siblings, niece, nephew, everyone. Everyone always has to deal with you first before they can get to anybody else. With the Golden Palace over here, I do feel like some of you, maybe not all of you, but some of you definitely get some flashes of your past life when you're sleeping. A time that you've never been in, places that you've never been to, structures that you've never seen, not even online. You don't know what that is. But with the Golden Palace, and especially if you see the thick growth underneath the palace, your soul still has a lot of memories of that past life that we channeled in part one of your reading group 2. And I think um, that is the reason why you get those flashes sometimes in your sleep. I don't think it is a regular occurrence, but I definitely feel like this is something that some of you at least have experienced. Another thing that I can see over here with stuck in the mud is that because your soul has been through so much in their past life, in this life, if even for a split second things aren't going your way, you start getting very restless and you start assuming the worst. Even if you've never been through anything horrific in this life, just because your soul has memories of all of those struggles and all of those dreams that they had to give up on from that past life, that is why in this life also, I won't say minor inconvenience, but let's just say inconvenience. All right, so in this life, whenever any inconvenience happens, your mind blows it out of proportion. All right, and you start worrying that, oh my gosh, this is going to lead to something bad, even though most likely it doesn't. But I would say that all those past fears and those bad memories, somewhere they get triggered, they get reignited, they come back on the surface, which is why you start feeling that way. Another thing that I can see with reconciliation and fire is that because there was so much that you had to give up on in your past life, whether it was your dreams, whether it was your wishes, some personal goals of yours, that is why in this life you always tend to hold rather too tightly to things, to objects, and possibly even to people. All right, people who might not necessarily be good for you, people who are not contributing to your life in any manner, but because your soul has already done so much of letting go and giving up, so it does not want to do any more of that in this life, right? Which is why if anyone has ever pointed out to you group 2 that, why do you always have this need to control everything, why do you always need to have all the answers, it is because in the past life, that legal trouble or whatever it was that you guys had endured, it was nothing but a shock, right? It was a shock which, because of which overnight you had to grow up. So your soul is not prepared to handle any more shocks in this life. In this life, your soul just wants to live a calm, peaceful, normal, quiet life. That is why I think your soul feels that if it knows what lies ahead, it can prepare itself better. which is why in this life you have this need to know all the answers, and this need to control everything, and this need to hold on to people and places and situations that are familiar, because unfamiliar situations trigger those ghosts of your past. And with the Queen of Swords over here and the King of Swords, we have a very good balance, of course, of feminine and masculine energies over here. But the thing is, A, group 2, I feel like you tend to intellectualize your emotions a lot, because in your past life you did not really have the time to sit down with your feelings and process things, because one after the other, go go go, you just had so many responsibilities lined up all of a sudden, right? So maybe in this life also, emotions as a whole is something that you struggle with. I'm not saying that you are not capable of feeling anything, but you definitely do struggle with talking about your feelings or explaining to somebody else how you are feeling. And yes, maybe even sometimes how you're feeling, you don't know yourself. Like, you know how you're feeling, but you cannot put it into words, and it just confuses you, and it baffles you. I can also see with the King and the Queen of Swords that because in your past life it was you who was doing everything, you were basically um, in charge of the whole house, and you had big responsibilities on your little shoulders. So in this life, you feel like you already know what's best, and you do not like being told what to do. And if someone ever tells you what to do, or if someone ever points out that, oh no, why did you do this, you should have done that instead, or you should have done this thing differently, it irritates you a lot, because your soul feels like, you haven't been in my shoes, I know what I'm doing. I've done things like this before, I've been through hell and back, so I know more. All right, and I don't need somebody else lecturing me or telling me what to do and what not to do. So even though on most days you might be a very mellow person, you might be a very gentle person, very loving personality and all of that, but God forbid if someone tells you what to do, or if someone points out your mistakes, there's no like end to how much you can charge at them after that. You get really really pissed off, you get very very irritated. And one of the nicer things, one of the nicer effects, I would say, over here with Gong is how excited you are about living your life to the best. How excited you get about the smallest things, finding the joys in the simple pleasures of life. Stop and smell the roses and things like that. Because, like I said, in your past life, you did not get opportunities to do any of those things. Right? So, in this life with wide open over here and the gong's energy, you want to make sure that you make the most of every minute, you make the most of every second. All right, now let's see what advice would Spirit like to give to you for your present life. So the cards that came out for it are Grey Squirrel, that says find new ways of solving problems. And we have Horse, that says care for others and let them be free. So the one advice over here that's coming across very strongly, of course, with Grey Squirrel is that you are very used to being the problem solver. That is something that you've basically done your whole life in your past life. But this time around, maybe because your life is different, situations are different, the circumstances are different, maybe you don't have to go so crazy over it, right? Maybe approaches that are so serious right from the get go aren't exactly needed. Situations are lighter, the dangers are less, it's minimal, so you can change your strategies accordingly. And then the second message over here with care for others and let them be free. See, again, your soul is very used to looking after other people, caring for their needs and things like that. Because, like I said, you used to be the primary breadwinner of the house, all the responsibilities were on you. But with the presence of fire and horse, there is a risk that in this life, maybe you tend to overdo it sometimes, you tend to smother people unintentionally. So you must know where to draw the line. You must realize that you know what's best for them, and you're doing whatever you can for them, but then beyond a point you have to just let them be, whether it is your younger siblings, whether it is your kids, whether it is your parents or your best friends or whoever these people are that you care about. Beyond a point you have to just let them be, because you need to help your soul calm down, and you need to help your soul understand that this time around it's going to be okay. There is no risk, there is no danger, we are fine, and these people that we love are going to be fine as well. All right, so these are all the messages that I have for you right now, group 2. If you like this reading, do give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new over here, and hit the bell icon when you do so. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hi group 3, if you guys chose the third image, welcome to part 2 of your reading, in which we will find out how is your past life affecting your present life, and what advice would spirit like to give to you for your present life. If this is the first video that you are chancing upon, please go to the timestamps. You will find the link to part 1 of your reading. Make sure to select group 3 there as well. And in the first part of the reading, we will take a look at who were you in your past life and what was your past life like. So let's start by taking a look at your oracle cards first. So the cards that came out for you guys are making a choice, third of awareness, lands, bow that says you are highly thought of. Then we have archway that says new opportunities, possibilities, and paths opening up. Then we have nest that says an emotionally secure and loving family is important to you. And from the tarot cards, we have the Ace of Swords that says the breath of life. We have the Seven of Pentacles that says healing. And we have the Three of Cups that says joy. So I can already see a couple of themes regarding how your past life is affecting your present life. Now, of course, with the presence of the Wizard of Awareness over here and healing, if there are some psychics who've chosen group 3, you guys have some psychic abilities, you are natural healers, and you always wondered where you get that from, you've always had it. It is a gift that you've carried from your past life into this life of yours. This is something that you've done before, and this is something you're doing again. I don't know whether you do it professionally or not, but you know, right? You know that you have the power of intuition, you know you have the power of sensing things, picking up on energies, your touch is healing, your presence is healing. So all of that is there. Now, so that was the first big theme that I was seeing. The second thing that I can see over here regarding how your past life affects your present life is when it comes to decision making. And I'll tell you why that is. See, your soul has a lot of wisdom, all right, and your soul has all the right answers. You are an old soul, you have that experience, you can tell if something's going to work out for you or not. But in this life, I can see that there often is a struggle between your intuition and your ego. Some of you have figured out how to go about it, some of you are perhaps still struggling with it, some of you used to struggle with it. But with making a choice over here and Wizard of Awareness, I feel like there often are instances in your present life wherein it, like, internally from your inner wisdom, you know what the right thing for you to do should be, but then your mind, you know, with the swords energy over here, the mental energy, the ego, that starts interfering, and you sit down all confused, all perplexed, and you're not able to decide, you're not able to move ahead. So that is something that needs your immediate attention. Now, with Ghostlands over here and Three of Cups, as we've already seen that in your past life, um, you were either going and visiting different places upon invitation, or people were coming to you, and you were mostly preoccupied in healing people and the sort. In your past lives reading, I did not pick up on any energy of you having a home life or anything like that. So of course, social service was something that you were very big on, helping people and garnering their love and respect and admiration and all of that. But love as a theme was totally missing from your past life. And it is quite possible with ghostlands over here that in this life also, either a lot of you are still single, or if you're not single, you found love quite late in your life, like later than you expected. But in this life, the themes of love and friendship matter to you a lot. Like in this life, people can give your example when it comes to how dedicated a lover should be or how loyal should a friend be, because you have all of those qualities. And the reason why you go all out in this life when it comes to love, or when it comes to your friendships, when it comes to other personal relationships, is because the kind of connections that you had forged in your past life were all very, you know, people would come to you, you would heal them, they would say thank you, of course they would admire you, they would respect you, they would love you as they of course loved you like their savior, right? Someone who had helped them. But romantic love, or platonic love, even for that matter, the kind of love that exists between the closest of friends or siblings and the like, that is something you did not really get to experience. And I think that is why all these things and connections like this matter to you a great deal in this life. Another thing that I can see is that because your soul is very used to being admired and being respected and being looked up to from the past life, that is why in this life, if someone challenges you, or if someone asks you counter questions, or if someone, let's say, mocks you, makes fun of you, even if they're doing it in a very light-hearted manner, it affects you a lot, to an extent wherein sometimes you just shut down. You know, you will just retire to your room, you will not talk to anyone, you will sulk, because I mean, they might think that they were just kidding, they were just pulling your leg, they were just teasing you, but for a soul who's so used to being respected and so bloody respected that, you know, like kings and all are calling them here and there, it's like a blow to the ego. Then it's like a blow um to that old memory, and that is why it affects you so much. You know, a lot of people might have come up to you and said that, why do you take yourself so seriously, you shouldn't take yourself so seriously. But and you also sometimes wonder and think that, why can't I just laugh along with people? You know, why do I get so serious so quickly, or why do I get so affected? But it is because of this. You get affected so easily, it's because you're not used to being the what's that phrase, you're not used to being the laughing stock, you're not used to being the subject of the joke. Also, with the presence of archway over here and ghostlands, I feel like another effect that your past life is having on your present life is that you are forging a path that is very different from what any of your ancestors or anybody else in your family in your current life has done. So for instance, maybe you come from a family where everyone is an engineer, or everyone is a doctor, or everyone is a lawyer, but you are into spirituality. You know, you've become a healer, you're into reiki, or you've become a professional tarot reader or something like that. So it's very different. The path that you've chosen to create for yourself is very different from what everybody else in your family is used to, but you're absolutely okay with it, because somewhere, with the presence of healing and the Ace of Swords, it's like you have finally discovered, or I would not exactly say discovered, you have gotten back in touch with what your true calling is, which is why it feels so natural, it feels so good to you. Okay, now let's see what advice would spirit like to give to you for your present life. So for that, we have eagle, that says seize opportunities courageously, and we have cat, that says be relaxed and independent. All right. So with Eagle over here, I feel like this is a pat on the back from Spirit that you're doing a great job so far, and you just have to keep at it in your current life as well. You already have a lot of inner wisdom. You are an old soul. You've done this before. So rely on that knowledge, rely on that wisdom, rely on those little nudges that your intuition gives you to boldly make the choices that feel right to you. And then the second message over here with cat, and especially when it says be relaxed and independent, I think this is spirit asking you with the presence of the bow and the ghostlands card that there really is no need for you to prove your mettle to anyone. There's no need for you to prove your worth to anyone. If someone wants to believe in you, great. If they do not want to believe in you, you do not have to hand out proofs, you know. So for example's sake, let's say that if you're a tarot reader, all right, and if you tell someone that and they're like, oh, I don't believe you, you have to give me one free reading, or you have to do one reading for me, and if it resonates, then I'll believe that you have that talent. So, and maybe it really hurts your ego and you're like, how dare they? Because like I said, your soul is not used to that mockery, or it's not used to that disrespect. But then with the cat card over here, spirit is saying that be, when they say independent, they mean that be aloof of all of these things and all of these things that people keep saying and all of these things that people keep doing, and stay relaxed, knowing that at your core you are true to yourself. The universe knows who you are. People who take your healing services, or people whom you've healed or whose lives you've impacted in your present life, know who you are. So anybody else who does not believe in you, or anybody else who thinks that it is okay for them to disrespect you or whatever, you do not have to bother yourself too much with them. Like how cats are, right? They just are like, they don't care, they have that attitude to them. So maybe you can also embody something like that. All right, so these are all the messages that I have for you right now, group 3. If you like this reading, do give it a thumbs up, let me know down in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new over here, and hit the bell icon when you do so. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.